Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Rock the Boat right here on Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. I'm your host for the next 2 hours. We're also being simulcast over to UCY.tv for the last time. It's a bit of a hole in my heart here as UCY is going to end broadcasting next Friday. And that's going to leave a pretty large hole in the networking of getting some truth out to the people. We can't be losing these networks. It's the only voice we have, and unfortunately, it's Jules, who runs UCY, has some medical problems that she's been dealing with for some period of time, and this is getting to be too much, and we wish her all the best, and hopefully once she regains her health, she will put up another network, because we're going to miss it big time. We're going to miss Jules, we're going to miss her show. Okay, and I'm going to bring in one of the other hosts who was just finished his show on UCY in about 10 minutes, and then we'll go from there. And later on in the second hour, we are going to have a retired lawyer on for I guess about an hour, and go through some of the stuff that how we're going to get back to law and get away from this damnable legal system, which has got nothing to do with law whatsoever. We have so many. They did a revolution on us. They flipped everything on us upside down. They put us into a fictional world, and we need to revolve it back to where it was. We've got to flip the world back right side up, and the best place I can see doing it is North America, Canada, and the United States. And it's very difficult to wake people up. They've been living in this fantasy land since they were born. They've been lied to since the day they were born. And Psych 101 basically states that once the mind has accepted a lie as the truth, it's extremely difficult for that mind to let go of the lie and accept the truth. In most cases, people will hug the lie. So what we're really in here is a spiritual psychological war. So we don't need bullets to solve this. We don't want to get there. If we get to the firefights, it's not gonna go well at all. We have the population. We just all got to work together now and flip this back right side up. Get back to reality, out of the fantasy world. Now, I'm running in the election here in Ontario, Canada, not Ontario, California. Pretty much the same deal. And I'm running for the Libertarian Party. I was going to run as an independent, which I did in 2007. And really, I was just running to gauge to see if people are starting to wake up at all. And what I'm finding for the most part is that people are starting to ask questions. But when I did these all candidates meeting, most of the people were basically 50 and up. That group of people is pretty well done. The last all candidates meeting I was at, I told them I'm looking for strong people with strong spirit, mind, and spine. But what's happened when I'm looking at the crowd is that they've all become so dependent on the government. They're like little children going with their mom to the candy store, I want transit, I want free drugs, I want this, I want that. And our debt here in Ontario is twice that of California, yet California has more people in it than the entire country of Canada, and Ontario only has 14 million people versus 40 million, and we have almost twice the debt of California. This is a freaking mess. But the people just keep going to the government. They don't seem to have any connection on anything. They just want things, and you've got these main parties who have been doing the same thing for a long time, as they weaken the people. And the people look very weak. I ran into a few people who come up to talk to me after these candidates meetings who get it. But what really surprised me, and I'm very thankful that I'm running in this election. There's no way we're going to get voted in, but I'm very thankful that we're running in the election. We get to put out some information and some brochures and that for people to read, and hopefully start to get their mind going in the right direction. And that is, we've got to get away from this nonsense they call government. It's not a government of or by the people, even in the United States. That's what it was supposed to be, but it got hijacked. So, the idea of this party system has to be killed. And now, if you look at it with open eyes, you will realize that the party system, just like the religious system, are both there to divide the people. And it's done a very good job. People hate the right or they hate the left, and we got the ultra left and the ultra right, and the division just keeps going. And then they throw the chaos in. We have division with the LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, Idle No More, and yada, 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 yada. They just keep throwing chaos because they're trying to get their order out of the chaos. And we have to rise above the chaos. We have to work with clear minds. And so I was really interested in the students. We did a all candidates meeting in the school with about 850 students in the audience, and it was rather ludicrous from where I was sitting because these mainstream parties are just, they're just repeaters. It just reminded me. The whole thing just reminds me of that video clip of Bush Jr. At that town hall meeting where he's going, I got to keep repeating. I got to make sure, I got to keep tossing the propaganda out so it gets in your head. And that's all these party politicians do. They just, after a few of these things, you just want to stick a fork in them because you can't stand listening to the garbage anymore. When we go do an all candidates meeting, the people there just hear it for the first time. I've been hearing it over and over and over and over because we've done so many all candidates meetings. And these people are completely brain dead. They're psychopaths. But I ran into some students. I had to do just to stick it in the mainstream party, just stick it to them a little bit. At the my closing at the all candidates at the high school, these politicians have been just rattling off the same crap they've been rattling off all the way through this. And so they think they're impressing the students or something. And I just said, I need a show of hands here from the student body. How many of you in the audience are actually even interested in politics? And about 3 or 4 hands went up. Just to stick it to these politicians who think they're just repeaters. They're brain dead. So after that, I went down and 99.8% at least of the student body headed for the exit doors as soon as this was over, and a few students hung around afterwards. And I was talking to a young girl in I think grade 10 or something, and I was warning the students not to get involved in these pharmaceuticals that the government's pushing at you. We have the governments here pushing this mental health nonsense. And I said, they just want to drug you so that you don't have the capacity to think or stand up against what they're pushing on you. And that's taking away your nations from you and taking away your futures. And I was talking to one young girl, and she said, I know, I already been through it. They had me on those drugs. And I said, what'd you do? And she said, I said that this was my best friend. And I got hauled in. And they said, you can't have a best friend. And I'm going, why can't you have a best friend? Well, because, they're pushing diversity and inclusiveness. And if you have a best friend, then you're excluding everyone else. So you can't have a best friend. Then they put her on some kind of psycho drug. And she said that just made her completely numb. And she finally got away from that. So her head's totally clear now. She gets everything that's going on. So the propaganda is not going to attach itself to her. And then at the last all candidates meeting I was at, the crowd was just, I told these people, you're beat down. Look at you, right? You got no spine left. You got no mind, and you got no spirit. You're just beaten down, and you don't know what to do about it. So either get strong or don't bother me. They put a lot of tough love into that last meeting. A lot of people didn't like it. Apparently, some people did like it because people came up to me afterwards. But in particular, this one girl who was 16 years old. We went downstairs. They had refreshments and whatnot, and shooting crap. And this, as soon as I walked into the room, this 16-year-old girl come over. She said, "I need to talk to you," right? And I told her about, the kids I talked to 10, 12 years ago were completely propagandized, right? They believed in, global warming. They believed in this diversity. They believed in this multiculturalism crap. They believed in anything that was shoved down their throat. But like I told the girl, I said, I'm a firm believer that everything has a shelf life, a best before date, even propaganda. And she agreed wholeheartedly. She says, yeah, I get it, and we had a very nice long chat, and she does get it. She gets it completely. And so, our young people, we have got to work with them and forget this politics bull crap. Okay, the only way you're going to have a government of and by and for the people is to create it. Now, here in Canada, we were given a government. We didn't create it. And the right-left is there to keep the population divided, fighting against each other. And you got to understand, the right and the left are nothing more than boots on the same tyrannical body marching you to a place you don't want to end up at. Right, left, right, left, right, left. You get sick of the left, you vote in the right, and vice versa. And that's just marching you because they're all pushing the same agendas. They may use different verbiage, but they're all pushing the same agendas. All of these countries, including the United States and Canada, are members of the United Nations, member states, okay? And, there's some things that Donald Trump's doing that I appreciate, but as long as the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the United States, or the United Nations buildings are sitting on American soil, something's not right. As soon as Donald Trump was elected, he should have vacated all of that stuff, and it's still there. So I'm a little suspicious about the sales pitch and that. We'll just have to wait it out and see. But for the most part, I met a guy. I had a young guy call me. He's 33, which is young compared to me, from a town down the road, and he's telling me at 33, he says, he and his friends are getting it now. Okay, so we're going to win this war, and it is a psychological, spiritual war. We're going to win it. We just have to have strong people. We have to have people who don't throw their hands up in despair and say, "Oh, there's nothing we can do about it." Want to bet? If you think there's nothing you can do about it, go stick your head in the sand and just wait till we get it fixed. I had a guy, a couple older guys say to me, he said, you're right about those people being weak in the audience. And he says, but how will we get them? Well, simple. The strong stand and the strong lead, the weak will follow. It's that simple. Don't worry about them, okay? Because the more strong people that step forward, the more weak people will attach themselves, and they will get stronger, okay? They've been beat down for generations and lied to for generations. And these politicians, believe me, they're psychopaths. And a perfect example of that, just before I bring Charlie in here, a perfect example of that is our incumbent MPP is a conservative, And this broad, I mean, they're all lying, but this broad is a classic case. I mean, somebody said she was like, she kind of reminded me of Hillary Clinton in a way, although this is a conservative. They're very smooth liars. And so the last all candidates meeting was at a church. So I ran into her outside and I said, "What are you doing here?" And she said, "Well, it's an all candidates meeting." And I said, "But this is a church." "Well, yeah, but you're lying to everybody. So you're prepared to come into the church and lie in the church." And she goes, I don't lie. And I looked at her, "So you freaking serious? You don't lie? You want some examples?" And so I threw out some examples. "Well, I don't lie." And I looked at her and I says, and she had a handler or something, a guy starting to move towards me. And I said, if you're that convinced you don't lie, even though you do it constantly, then that makes you a psychopath. And we went to the church, and she did her same lies, as did the NDP, which is the left, and the Liberals, which is the left. So it's up to us. Nobody's going to come and fix it for you. Okay? There are no heroes. There are no heroes. The hero is what's looking back at you when you're brushing your teeth and the reflection you see in the mirror. That's the hero. Okay? And if we're going to have a future for our nations, if we're going to have a future for the children and the grandchildren, those not yet born, then you have got to step up to the plate. And don't blame the politicians. Okay? They just do what they do. Right? Okay? That's what they do. And so don't bother blaming the politicians. We should have solved this decades and decades and decades ago. But everybody wants something for free. Nobody wants to be involved in politics. And there's an old saying, you're either going to affect politics, or politics is going to affect you. Do I like politics? Not a chance. But we have to get rid of the party system, and we have to, in the party system, you don't elect anybody. The party elects your candidate. Okay, so the party is the problem. You can keep your same electoral districts, but you, the people in your district, you decide who the best man or woman is to represent your district, and you don't send them down to a split thing, you on this side and me on that side. You take them down, you put them around a round table, and they work together to figure out what assets you have in your district and we have in our district, and how we put them all together, and how we work together to build the best asset base and the best way of using those assets in our manufacturing processes and everything else, and kill the party system, because that is not a system of representation of the people. It's a party representation. And that does nothing but cause trouble. So I'm going to try and bring Shali in here now. And I'm going to try this. Why isn't this coming in here? What the heck's going on here now? My machine seems to be hanging here a little bit. Let's try this again. Okay. All right, let's try this. This is really hanging up on me here. What? Oh, here we go. We got him, I think. There we go. So, we'll get Shali in here and we'll have a little chat for a bit. See what's on his mind. My machine, smart guy. A little bit.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm good, Ron. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm just, well, I don't know. Somebody stole, this machine's bouncing around like a dog here. Somebody stole my election sign out in front of my house. and I think it's a libertine, so I think somebody just probably took it home and hung it on the wall. So I put another one out there. But I went uptown to get a coffee this morning. The rest of my signs seem to be up there, so that's all good. So did this thought of UCY going down catch you off guard as it did me?
Well, I mean, I kind of knew that, and I was for any kind of move that that Jules would make with regard to taking care of herself. I knew that it was, at times, it sounded very stressful. It was definitely a project and something that she really, really loved to do. And then I guess over time, God only knows. I mean, when people hear about stress and things like that, and they talk about stress, it's, it's something that, anyway, long story short, whatever Jules needs to do to kind of fine tune her life at this point. And as I said, I don't know if you heard me on the program, I said of 2018, which has kind of been just a shitty year, already, with some things that have been, like my sister's very ill, things like that. If UCY ever went off the air, it would be 2018, and it seems like there's a number of things there, but I'm all for Jules being well and taking care of herself.
Well,
and so was I surprised? No. I just I'm kind of getting burned out to a certain point, so I can only imagine what it's like for Jules on a daily basis to make sure that UCY goes on air without any issues. And of course, from time to time there were technical issues, and she's a IT techie person, so it was probably very stressful to kind of keep.
Yeah, I just can't imagine. Like, she's basically a one-lady show, and the amount of work and the number of shows, and it boggles my mind that she was able to do it. And I know she had some health problems, and does have some health problems.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you. It wasn't unexpected. Just hoping not. But when we had a little chat on Skype the other day, and I missed some shows because I've been out at these all candidates meetings in the evenings and that. And when I just saw the words, right, like Friday's it. But then I thought, like, I know she's had some fairly serious medical problems, and the amount of stress to keep this network going and whatever else is going on in her life. I just told her, there's only one important thing in the world, and that's your health.
Yeah.
And, nothing else matters.
It's been about 2 years since that event, and the scare. I was like, when I heard it, I was just, kind of blown away and everything, and I was just like, I think I might even in a communication to her, just saying, listen, whatever you have to do to get well and stay well, even at the cost of UCY itself, you got to do it, So 2 years later, I mean, it's been this July 4th, because it was around July 4th weekend, not last year, I want to say, but the year before. So I was scared for her.
I was, very scared.
So I'm again not surprised, but very thankful, and very thankful that Jules, even after when Oracle kind of went down, and And then the very next weekend, I was broadcasting on UCY. It was like there was no transition whatsoever. It was just like one weekend I'm on Oracle, the next weekend I'm on UCY. After a Sunday night conversation with Jules, and then everything just kind of flowed through there. And so again, thank you, Jules, for the providing the platform and all the information and the things that she's brought to the surface regarding all this biotech stuff, priceless information.
Well, I have a feeling when we were chatting, I have a feeling. And that's all I think anybody cares about right now is Jules' health. Get healthy, right? They just get rid of the stress and concentrate on your health. And I do believe that Jules will rise again, and maybe in a background capacity or whatever. But I don't think she's done by a long shot. I think she's going to miss this, but she just has to concentrate on her health. I've been saying this for a long time. We gotta. I mean, this is critical. Her health is critical, and it has to be dealt with. And she has to just. I'm at the stress of running this thing and being ill at the same time has got to be off the charts. So you got to get healthy, girl. And we all appreciate everything you've done. But again, we are having. We're broadcasting on Revolution Radio today, which is another listener-supported network, which I appreciate having the opportunity to be on here. But we're losing networks, and I'm a firm believer 2018, as weird as it looks right now, is the year we start to stand and turn things around, or just lay down and get run over. And, to lose networks is tough. But I would love to meet Jules, but I can't get into the States for some oddball reason. But I would love to sit down and have a cup of coffee or something with Jules someday. And she's worked so freaking hard. I mean, she did Oracle, and she was involved in Orion. I was on Orion when it went down.
Yep.
And it went down with no notice, and ended up over here in Revolution Radio with the help of Duck, because if it hadn't been for Duck, I was just, when we lost Orion, I just went, okay, now what, right? And Duck, who listens to a lot more online radio than I do, just started working and got me into UCY and on the Revolution Radio. So, it's a good group of people who care about our nations and each other and everybody else. We're the good guys, and we're running on shoestrings all the time, and we're running on stress all the time because financially this has just busted my ass. So. But after talking to some of these young people that I ran into during the election process, which are completely different young people for the most part that I ran into 12 years ago, the propaganda is loosening. It's not having the effect it did on the kids of the last generation. These kids are getting it. And I'm getting more and more people who are looking at this party system. You have a lot of people say, who you voting for? I don't vote anymore. Why? Well, what's it matter? Because it doesn't matter who you vote, the same crap goes on. And I keep saying, yeah, well, that's because the right and the left are just two boots on a tyrannical body marching us to somewhere we don't want to end up at. So, whereabouts in the States are you anyways?
East Coast, Jersey.
In Jersey?
The gem of the corporation. the gem of the United States corporation.
Well, do you want some of your people back? Like our borders are. You got to. This is bad up here, man. Like our borders, because of obligations signed with the United Nations, our borders are wide freaking open, and get this, it says Canada has partnered with the UN Refugee Agency and George Soros's Open Societies. Well, that's nice. Now we had a white guy who was the immigration minister, and the prime minister went down to visit the Aga Khan and his island. And when he came back after Christmas, next thing we know, we have him as our immigration minister, which is not good, because our borders are wide open. So today, if anybody's down near Roxham Road today, there's a protest going on down there, and I hope a lot of people showed up. I don't know if you ever heard of that Faith Goldie, but anyway, she split from Rebel Media and all that kind of stuff. So she's gone down there. They're putting a protest together on the border of Quebec and I don't know where. Well, Montreal. It's got to be Vermont? Where is that? Somewhere in there.
I just what I wanted to get on and just we've got some contractors here that are going to be moving through the house, so it's just going to totally crush anything that I'm going to try to be talking about. Plus, I don't know if you heard in the background there.
Yeah, I hear some.
Okay, so what I wanted to say was, hey, it's been really great to connect with you and other hosts on UCY. If you ever need me to maybe sit in and host, if you can't make it or something,
sounds great.
Just let me know, and I'll let you know if my schedule will permit it. I would be happy to kind of sit in for you. I don't know what I'm going to be doing mostly. I think I don't know. I think I might reach out to Chuck Ocelli. I know he's got the Ocelli.com over there. See what's happening with him. Maybe I'll make a reappearance over there at some point. But I just wanted to, thank you for, everything that you're doing up there in Canada, and with Mario Lemieux as the Prime Minister or whatever. Does that guy look like Mario Lemieux?
We just call him Tinkerbell up here.
Oh yeah, he's just another. I don't know, just the same thing. This Gavin guy. If you go to Drudge Report, you'll see this Gavin guy who's been like the mayor of San Francisco. I guarantee he's going to be a presidential candidate at some point. But so I just wanted to thank you for what you do up there, and I'll stay in touch with you. Let me know if you need me to sit in and host it at some point for you.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a round table and you want to, bring some.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Give me a shout, and I'll join in with you. You can keep me up to date on what's going on in the lovely the Canadian corporation, and we can go from there. So thanks for the invite. I wish I could stay a little bit longer, but
okay. I appreciate jumping in here, and take care. And I'm sure you're not disappearing.
Oh no, I'm not. I'll be around. I'll be in touch.
Okay.
And you do the same.
Okay, enjoy the day.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Okay, thanks a lot. Take care.
Yep.
Now, once again, my computer's hung. Maybe I shouldn't have called the Prime Minister Tinkerbell. Well, here we go. Man, this thing's hanging bad. Excuse me here for a second while I try and remove Charlie from this. I want to screw this up. Anyways, okay, there we go. You folks that listen to these shows and that, there's a lot more at stake than listening to shows. There's a lot of research to be done. The research been done, basically. It's so easy to dig out now, it's ridiculous. And you got to get into your neighborhoods. That's all there is to it. Um, I think what we may do. I'm talking to a young lady out in Calgary. We're still working on, but I'm in this stupid election process here. Once that's over, we may just we want to do a magazine or a news source, and maybe what we'll do is we'll do the magazine and do like a PDF of a brochure that you can just print black and white or color, your choice, on your printers, and just get it out into your local area, because people are stuck with mainstream still. People think the internet is the answer. It's a good tool. It's a good tool, but it's not the answer. Because like 99% of the people are not tuned in to what's going on. And we have to get the information to the people in our neighborhoods. The only way to do that is through print. If I walk down my street right now, people know who I am, but if I ask them, if they understand what's going on, they won't be able to. We won't be able to have a discussion because they don't have any information, they don't have any knowledge, and knowledge is power, and ignorance is not bliss. Okay, ignorance is damn dangerous, and they've made the general population ignorant. And so they don't know what's going on, how to fix it, because they don't even know what's going on. They're still just in that fantasy land. And we've got to shake them out of it. And the only way you're going to shake them out of it is to get them involved. They have to become engaged. And the only way you're going to engage them is to be able to put information in front of them to show them that everything is at risk. And most people, they don't know one of the plans is to remove you from your automobiles. They don't know that. They don't know that, you're going to be starved energy-wise and water-wise. They don't know that. So I think probably a good start here would be for us to do up some information brochures, pick a topic once a month or something, or two topics, and just give them a briefing on it. I'd love to be doing a full-bore newspaper that comes out every week. That would be brilliant. But we got to get to their doors. We have to get to their doors. You can put up the most brilliant website on the planet, but how many people in your local neighborhood know it's there? Very freaking few, if any. So if we're going to make tracks, and we're going to start to turn this back to the way it's supposed to be, to reality from fantasy land, we're going to have to become engaged. What I've found from people is they're afraid. The people are so frightful. I don't get that. They're all bitching and complaining. And you say, do you want to take these and just go knock doors, introduce yourself, and hand them one? Well, I couldn't do something like that. I hear that all the time. And that's called weak. That's really weak. It's pathetic. We need some town criers out there. And people are afraid. It's funny because, when this whole windmill renewable energy thing hit here, I already understood the scam from back in the 70s when I was the same scam was used to tell us that we needed to be energy independent. We're being held hostage by the Saudis. So they came up with the same thing, windmills, electric cars, biodigesters, the whole nine yards. And that was to make us energy independent. Well, as soon as they got what they wanted, was our borders open and flooding us with import cars and remove the duties on them. That was the whole deal, was to get the duties removed, get the tariffs removed, right? So these globalists can flood our lands with imports and at the same time take away our manufacturing from us. They gutted us out, called it free trade. Then they came up with, then they just used the same template over again, only this time to save us from global warming. First they were saving us from the Saudi oil crisis, then they're saving us from the global warming. Same tools, electric cars, biodigesters, solar panels, and so on and so forth. Because when they got what they wanted back in the 70s, all of a sudden, the solar panels, windmills, electric cars, all disappeared. Disappeared. What happened to our energy independence? Well, that's not what we're really doing. We're just trying to get your borders open. And now they take the same scam and move it over to global warming. And people got to understand that. But most people don't understand that. Right? Because they don't have any history. They haven't done any study. They just listen to whatever the media tells them to listen to. And I noticed in this campaign that I've been in, the main parties get all the airplay, and we get basically none. And there's not enough people come out to these all candidates meetings. I mean, the biggest crowd we had was a school, and they were captured there, right? Because they're in school. It was like 800 and some people. But most of these all candidates meetings, couple 300 people. And so those people hear what you got to say. But the media don't send it out there. They only keep pushing the main party stuff, which is all the stuff that is designed to harm you and your family. So they're giving you a choice between, here we have the Liberals, the Conservatives, the NDP, and the Green Party. Well, the Green Party isn't really doing nothing. But those three parties are all pushing the exact same programs. A little different verbiage, but exactly the same programs. So people are making a choice of voting between choice 1, 2, and 3 when they're all identical. So now all you're doing is picking a color. You pick red, blue, or orange. But you're going to end up with the same situation. Now, I would love to be down at Roxham Road right now, on the Quebec border. I would have loved to be down there. It's about 8 hours away from here, better, around 8 hours. And I can't get there. But I hope it's going well, and I hope it inspires other Canadians. You can't just, but this is all about, the whole globalist UN thing is about end of nation states. Okay, so that they now become your rulers. Well, they want you using 75% less electricity, 75% less water. They don't want you in a vehicle. Private property is not sustainable. Normal agriculture is not sustainable. They want to grow the food in the cities, even though we have all this land to grow the food on. So, who's calling now? Oh, okay. That's just Helen from Calgary calling in on the phone. I don't know if we'll be able to get to her today. Helen, I don't know if I can get to you. Like, we got what, 10 minutes till, well, maybe I can bring you in. I got 10 minutes till break, 9 minutes till break, and then we're going to bring Murray Riley on, a retired lawyer from Ontario, and see what's on his mind as how we can change this around. And it's a legal system that got us here, you know. It's like people think that we're sovereign nations. We're not sovereign nations. You know, it was like when I was talking to the Attorney General's office, which I've had quite a few conversations with. You know, he says, you know, Ron, we never left the feudal system. And I said, well, I've known that for a very, very long time, but why don't you tell the rest of the people in the freaking country? You know, you never left the feudal system. All they did was, you know, you still got the king, right? You know, I mean, when you here we have the head of state here is still the queen, and the governor general is above the prime minister. He's just the prime minister, right? He's the minister to move the agendas, but he's third on the list. But the fact here is, anytime you have a majority government, you have a dictatorship. And the other parties, you know, bitch and complain, but you still have a dictatorship. There's not much you can do with these guys. And it's the same in the States. You know, when they gave executive order to the president of the United States, they put him in position of the dictator or the king. You know, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at all. The whole political system is just a freaking ruse, okay, to divide and conquer the people and think that they have a choice. It's just a continuation of the feudal system. We are subjects. Now, in this case, we're subjects of a corporation. We are the chattel. We are what they borrow money against, our labor. The taxes is no different than the king requiring you, here's some land to live on, and I need X percentage of your wheat. Nothing's changed. Okay? Same game, just spun a little bit different, moved over to the legal system. You know, one of the best stories I ever read, I love it, you know, the lawyers come up to the lawyers and the bankers come up to the king and go, you know, you can make a lot of money if you sell the land. I forget which king that was. It was King John. Anyways, what are you, stupid? If I sell the land, I won't be the king, you idiots. I won't have a dominion. And then, no, you're not actually going to sell the land. What we did is we rebranded the word land into a concept. So you'll always own the land, but we'll let them buy and sell paper thinking they actually own the land, when in fact they don't. All they're doing is moving certificates. And that was really, you know, because everything else is the same. You know, you look at your taxes that you pay as the wheat you used to give to the king. It's the same damn thing. Same damn thing. You know, the king is the Fed, and then the states are what the king gives to his barons to go collect taxes on and do put in what the king wants done. And those in the state who are given the state to manage break the state up into counties and that to some of their guys who are the tax collectors. Nothing has changed. We're still in the feudal system. There's nothing sovereign about our nations. Okay? We are the subjects. Citizen means the same as subject, and a subject is someone that is basically a slave. So you went from being slave by the king to slave by the corporation. And when they did that, they moved from the law to the legal. When the king, the only way he had the right to rule was if he followed the law as per the good book. If he strayed from the law, and he did not have the authority to rule except through tyranny. Now, the legal system is a corporate system. And Jesus, this is nuts today. The phone won't shut up. Who is this?
Not going away, brother. Get me on.
That's my buddy Doc. Yeah, we're almost into break there, Chris. So we're going to I'm just going to rattle off here till we get through the break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to bring Murray Riley in, a retired lawyer, to discuss some of this stuff. And I guess bring Duck in as well, because apparently I'm being threatened now with physical abuse if I don't bring him in. So I don't want to get hurt, so I have to bring him in. Just kidding, of course. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe we can get Helen in here too. I don't know. We'll see what happens after the break. And I got people bugging me on Skype here. I got people phoning me that they want me to phone them back to discuss the party I'm running for. And are you on air? Yes, you are. Well, the Queen's face is still on our money. That's correct. And that's got to get changed out. We have to put, we've got to turn it into our money because we really don't have any money. The money's not real. It's fake. The law, the judicial system's fake. The school system's fake. The religious system's fake. All of these things have been turned into fantasy land to divide and separate and confuse people. And we got to get it turned right side up. We got to get back to happy land. We got to get back to being men and women who aren't afraid to work, men and women who aren't afraid to build their countries, men and women who don't have to constantly suck on the government teat, because that will make anybody weak. Once you get hooked into that life idea of the government will provide, you're going to get weak, and you're going to get spiritually weak, because now you're dependent not on you and your neighbors and your friends and your brothers and sisters. You're dependent on this fictional entity to provide for you. Well, they can't provide for you. You provide for them. You are the chattel. You are what they borrow against. And they borrow against it, and they spend it, and you're on the hook to pay it back. Bad system. Doesn't work. Got to get changed out. And that's all there is to that. So I just got to check here to see when exactly we're going to the break. I can't remember if it's 56 or 58. And take a break here for a few minutes. We'll get to go and have a coffee and a bit of a smoke, and there's great music. So hang with us, folks. We'll be back in about 4 minutes with our guest, Murray Riley, retired lawyer. Okay? Hang with us. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is the second hour of Rock the Boat right here on Revolution Radio, being simulcast over to UCY for the very last time. UCY will be going off air next Friday, and breaks my heart, but the administrator is ill, and the only thing that anybody's concerned about right now is her regaining her health, and hopefully someday she will revive UCY or another network. I'm going to see if I can get a hold of, I want to say this before I do anything else. Remember, Revolution Radio, which I'm so glad that they gave me this spot every Sunday, is listener supported. Okay? So if you're just listening on another app or something, just go to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And there's donate buttons basically on every page. If you got $5, $10, $15, send it on in. We've got to keep these networks up. Okay, they got to keep running. This is extremely important. So do your bit and help keep Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com on the air. Now, I have to go and find contact here for my guest, Murray Riley, retired lawyer, and hopefully we have an interesting conversation. Let's see. Down the list we go, and there's a long list here. I appreciate Murray coming on. There's not a lot of lawyers that will come on the air, and there's not a lot of school teachers will come on the air. I only ever had one school teacher come on the air, and from Ottawa, and did a very good show, and he had an awakening. He actually deprogrammed himself on the show. Because he sent me a note after the next day and said, you know what, I'm really glad I did the show because I've made a decision. I'm not lying to the kids anymore. Most people know they're lying in the education system, but they're getting a paycheck and a pension at the end of it. And so in other words, they sold their soul for some cash and a pension. And that's really pathetic. So we're going to see if we can get Murray in here and see what kind of a conversation we can get going. We'll introduce Murray, and then I guess I'm going to have to bring Duck in, or he's going to hump my ass down and lay a hurting on me. So hopefully Murray picks up the phone here, and hopefully, cross your fingers.
The slide whistle welcomes you to 2018. This is 549-2770 in Kingston, Ontario. Leave a message if you wish to.
Hi, Murray. It's Ron from Rock the Boat Radio. You're supposed to be on air today. So if you're there, please pick up. That's the message. And do we got you? No. So I'll leave you the message. I'll try you again in a little bit and see if we can't get you on air. Okay, we don't got Murray. So where are we going to go here? We'll try him again in a bit. And see if we can't hook up with him. Give him 5 minutes or something, and hopefully, maybe he's having lunch. I don't know. But he's supposed to be on at 1 o'clock, which is 1:08. So hopefully he's on or come on. Now, I'm going to bring on real quick here Helen for 5 minutes or so. And then then I got to bring Duck in And I got somebody else that wants to call in. So we'll do that for a bit, and then we'll try Murray again and see what happens here. Okay. Sounds. Hello, Helen.
Yes,
How are you, my dear?
I'm good. Just
Okay.
chance turned down.
Yeah, you got some.
Yeah,
No.
you're in the background. You know, it's all about deprogramming.
It's all
I
it's
spent-
about. Yeah.
I spent many years studying myself, and it goes down to the essence of knowing who you are. And I, as a ex-teacher, but still a teacher out there on a daily basis, I had a call from. I had an email from somebody in the United States wondering about the math and about the different Common Core, et cetera, et cetera. We have to learn to rethink differently, whether it be, we all need to do this. And I know it takes a long time, but it's well worth it. And I think that one of the first things one should do is stop doing, and this is what we've been programmed to do, to pay the tax, to pay the queen, to pay this, to pay the bills. But when you begin your day in developing your spiritual essence of who you really are, you then gain the confidence, and that's 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening before you go to bed or while in bed, to journalize. And that's one of the ways, if you don't want to go to an effective therapist, which there is very few out there. I was very fortunate to attended something for 18 months, and they could see that my heart was really, truly, and my soul, my essence was wanting to know the truth. And as you gain the truth, you become more confident, you gain an awful lot of energy, and you realize that everything is energy, and that is how you heal.
That's how you lose your fear as well.
Right, okay, that's right. I have little or no fear anymore from being very fearful woman and a young girl, little girl, to a strong woman today. I'm just trying to help people all I can. I mean, I'm helping this young boy who's 18 years old, and he's going to a special preparatory school, and they're not doing it the right way. And even when you pay maybe $50,000 a year for a private school, they're still not doing it the right way, whether it be the public school system or a private school system. If anything, I was asked to teach in a private school here in Calgary. And I spoke to somebody who had attended there, and she said that they developed the elitism of the students there. And the same thing. I did the same thing. Grade 4, when I was teaching in the system, there was one boy who went over to that school. I brought him over to that school because they could see that he was part of an international group and that they wanted to clone him. Today, he's a gay person with 1 or 2 children, was living in Vancouver, and now I don't know if he's dealing with his father's business from India or not. But we have to rethink everything differently. We have to move from polarized thinking to analysis thinking to finally analytic thinking, where you can turn in your brain everything around 365 degrees.
That's it. Analytical thinking, which I believe I am, is extremely powerful. And it gains you knowledge fast. The one thing people first of all have to understand, and it's so difficult for people to get this, and if you can't accept this one simple thing, then you're going to wallow around in the swamp forever. And that is, just understand you've been lied to since the day you were born. Everything you've been taught is upside down. Everything you've been told to believe is upside down. They put you into a fantasy world. You got to get back to the real world, and the first thing you got to accept is you've been lied to since the day you were born, and that's the only way out. That's the only way to begin deprogramming yourself and get strong, right? And the people have been weakened to the point where they're really just, it's like Brzezinski said, like it's going to take us 2.5, 3 generations to basically turn people into jello. And that's basically what the general population is now. And they believe the lie all the time. And the truth scares the hell out of them. The truth becomes a lie.
Along my journey, after studying myself, which I was very fortunate, and I do find that Dr. George Simon of UCY is an excellent show to listen to, and I think I know you learn a lot from him, and it'd be an approach that I'm interested in, and I would love to go in because he's 70 and he's almost finishing his career, and he's finishing his last book. I feel that people should listen to him because he's extremely insightful. Some people you just have to walk away from, even if it be your partner or whatever, and say, and the more you try to make them understand or try to give them documents or articles, the more they resist, and the more then you become angry, and the more you might as well just leave and begin a new life.
Well, that's the last all candidates meeting the other night at a church, a very nice church, hotter than hell in there, but. When I looked at the audience, I says, I'm only interested in those with a strong spirit, mind, and spine. The rest of you, I'm not interested in. Because you're not, you will follow eventually. But at this point in time, you will just continue to believe that this governmental system is your friend somehow and is going to look after you from cradle to grave. I'm not interested in you folks, right? And so some pretty strong people came to talk to me afterwards, and they get it from that 16-year-old girl who was she was amazing, absolutely amazing. She understands, this mental health thing they're throwing out to try to drug the kids, to try to keep them numb and stupid, so they can't get up and resist. The global warming thing, she said most of the students know that's a crock of nonsense now. We just have to keep basically putting one foot in front of the other and talking and, trying to encourage people to, but again, there's no point standing there and fighting with somebody that is hugging the lie. That's a waste of time. It just doesn't go anywhere. It can't go anywhere.
Also, every education, and this was a quote from Aristotle, educating the mind without educating the heart, which we don't do in education. I noticed that as a grade 4 teacher, that students could only label negative hatred, anger, negative emotions. And you have to be able to feel the positive emotions in you to gain the confidence, and then to have them all strength within you, a real balance. The cells the DNA must change and realize that, that God made no junk and you're no junk because we're fed that we are junk.
That's exactly correct. Now, the best book I ever read in my life, I should read it again. I was trying to transition, if you will, from being a young wild man, from the time I was 15 till I was probably 21 or something, and we just partied hardy the whole time. I mean, we worked and everything, but it was back in the day, and we partied hardy. And one day I just thought, I gotta get out of this, and I had to leave all my friends because they were all, they just couldn't figure out why I didn't feel like partying anymore. I had to get on with other things. And I ended up moving from Edmonton to Vancouver. and left all my friends. I didn't know a soul when I got to Vancouver. And, coming down off the party mode and the drug use and everything, was a little strange. My confidence was down when I was trying to get cleaned up, and I was a little bothered by some stuff, and then I picked up a book called "I'm Okay, You're Okay."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have that book.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
And when I read that book, it was like a light went off. And, everything's fine since, everything's fine.
I think some people can do it through a book, but quite often we have to do it even if you want to get it at another level or stage. It's not even with an individual person who could be your mentor, but it's almost within a group, because then you see what you might have to change, what the good points are in the person, which is what you have inside you. So you have all kinds of mirrors.
Yeah, like I'm pretty good. Yeah, that probably works for a lot of people. I'm more individualistic, and I'm a good teacher, but I can self-analyze pretty easily.
Right, you do.
Yeah.
You know how to do that well. Right.
Yeah, and so when I read that book, I was young, and it was just said, everything's cool, right? Basically, I don't even remember the book really. I read it, and something I read in it clicked, and so I said, okay, I'm okay, you're okay, right? And we are all okay. We should all be okay, but this system that people are entrapped in makes them not okay.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the whole point of the system that we're in, is to make people weak, to make people dependent, so that they can continue to manipulate you.
That's right. And so why I suggest is writing in a journal, that develops the being process. It also, you're going deeper inside within yourself, because all knowing is found within you. But we're fed to believe that it's by by the teacher, by the doctor, by the lawyer, by the preacher, rather than our own selves.
Right.
And I know that's. Are you want to go because somebody else is on the phone?
Yeah, I want to thank you so much for that, because that was pretty inspiring stuff that you're talking about. And, and I keep saying, just before I let you go, I'm still looking for the men. My experience to date is it's the women who are getting stronger faster than the men.
Well,
I'm not exactly sure why that is. We have a 29-year-old woman headed down the Roxham Road, to the Quebec border, and she's been beat up, spit on, and she just keeps coming. And that's a woman. And I don't understand what's wrong with the men.
Well, maybe it has to do with the brain barrier, blood-brain barrier, medication.
Could be. I mean, hopefully the men, see these strong women like yourself and so many others, and say, you know what? We better pick it up, boys, because we're losing our nation, we're losing the future. Our children got no future if we don't step up to the plate. And so I thank you for everything you're doing, because you're an inspiration.
Thank you. I've been told that before.
So I'm going to let you go. I got the phone's ringing, and I got to see if Murray, the lawyer's around.
Well, I just thought, become engaged, get out of the box, go to the courtroom, go to the school board. I was known as a permanent fixture there. Go to annual general meetings. Get out of your home and get off the TV and go attend these things and just observe and gain the confidence and journalize and take one day at a time. Do not worry about the past or the future, one moment at a time. And once you live that way, everything changes.
Yeah, I just leave you with this, because you're an ex-teacher. when we did the all candidates meeting at the school, you know, I told the students, there's about 850 students in there, and I said, you know, you have a duty to question everything that these teachers tell you. It is your job to hold their feet to the fire, right? And I could see the teachers going, shut up.
You even have a duty to question your parents. And if you have created the right environment, that is the healthy environment.
Yeah.
Any adult you should question.
Okay.
Because the children are closer to source or creator than
Well, yeah, the older you get in this system, the farther you get hauled away from your creator, right? And that's unfortunate, and we have to rectify that situation. But I got to let you go, Helen. I thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing, and say hey to Calgary for me, what's left of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. You're an excellent teacher, and I appreciate. I make sure I listen to you a couple times a week.
Okay.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, dear.
being a great mentor to all Canadians and people that listen to your show.
Take care.
And North Americans. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, take care. Thank you. Okay, I really appreciate that, Helen. Very strong lady. I'm going back down here. I mean, I'm getting hammered today with stuff. I got to go back down here and see if I can hook up with Murray. I want to get him in here. Here he is. Let's see if we can hook up with him this time. Hopefully he answers the phone, because we only got about a half an hour left. And let's see where we go with this. And I hope he doesn't get cold feet. I don't mind if he eats a cold sandwich for lunch. I just hope he didn't get cold feet. I guess we got it.
The slide whistle welcomes you to 2018. This is 549-2770 in Kingston, Ontario. Leave a message if you wish to.
Hello, Murray. You going to do the show? Or Murray, you there? Hello, Murray. This is Canada calling. You're not there? I guess Murray's not going to join us on the show today. I was kind of looking forward to that. Maybe he went down to Roxham Road this afternoon. Maybe that's where he's at. Who knows? Anyways, it doesn't look like he's going to join us today. So, not wanting to get hit with a hammer, I guess we better go find Duck. And run with that, which is here. So we shall let that get out and try and get Chris in here. And I have to wait for this thing to tell me it can't hook up. User not online. Go to the mobile, and then we'll get them. And see what's what. I don't know what happened to Murray. I was really looking forward to talking to Murray today. Haven't talked.
Why are you calling my house?
Because you keep phoning my house telling me you're going to beat me up if I don't get you online here.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
right.
That.
Yeah, it's not that I'm a fearful guy, but, you know, I don't want to claw hammer in the back of the head. You know, it takes a lot of Band-Aids and sewing and shit to fix it up. So how you doing, bro?
Well, I'm kind of embarrassed because I was the one that set up this your guest for the second hour, and the guest is missing in action.
Yeah, well, maybe he went to Roxham Road. Maybe you inspired him to go to Roxham Road. Who knows?
No, because I asked him if he could rent me a car so I could get down there.
Oh, okay.
And
so he's not Roxham
said he wasn't willing to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he rented it for himself.
Well, maybe. And
never took me.
And didn't take you. That's possible. Who knows, right? You know, I was really looking forward to talking to Murray today, so I don't know exactly what happened there.
So was I. I talked to him for about 2 hours last night,
Oh, you did the show last
be on
night.
your show.
Well, he probably thought he did the show last night.
Yeah, after talking to me, yeah.
Yeah. Or he twisted his head, and he still.
So he thought it was all recorded, and we just replay it today.
Who knows? It was nice to talk to Shawley. I haven't talked to him for a long time.
You know what's funny, Ron? We got to keep UCY going. Jules is actually in chat, and I don't have any communications right now other than you calling me on the phone, as you and I have discussed. I've got a visitor computer, which means I'm allowed to use a computer as a visitor, but I have no email, I have no Skype, I have no communications whatsoever, which is really sad. But that being said, when we first got you on UCY.TV, Shawley went off of his show and jumped right into yours to introduce you to the network. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the irony. Now, potentially, but I won't say never. We can keep this thing going. We got to talk to Jules. We got to get more people involved. We're going to work on that. But Shawley is, at this point, the last one to say goodbye to you on UCY.TV. Do you see where there's a connection there?
Yeah, but I mean, it's it's a sad day. It really truly is. But
no, not necessarily.
We're not done yet.
Jules is still talking to people. I can't communicate with her.
Well, I can't even get over to the chat because my computer's having a spaz here. I'm trying to get over to the chat.
Well, we don't go through the chat. We'll go through.
No, I know. I was just trying to get to the chat.
She's just on the chat. I've just seen her name in the chat.
And I'm just saying I can't get to it. You can't communicate, and I can't get over to the chat because my computer's, or whatever the hell's going on with it, is hanging and being a pain. So, no, I mean, once you get, I don't even know how long I've been on UCY, a couple years. I don't know, time goes. It's got to be a couple years, I think. Do you get any idea? I don't.
I don't. Honestly, I don't. I don't. I remember Shawley was talking about Orion and Oracle, right?
Yeah.
And we lost them.
Yeah.
And I'll bring it up again, and I hate to do this because I'm going to be the guy that everybody's going to be pointing their guns at. But when Oracle went down, I was talking with Dougie Owen. I was his arch nemesis at the time because I didn't appreciate what he was speaking about. But he always let me on. He always let me speak to him. And there was that other guy, Mike, who was his cohort. And well, Jules can tell you, she was integral in all that. But when I was on air with him, he said, "Oh, while we're on air right now, I'm just going to let everybody know, and you should be the first to know, Chris, that we're shutting down in 2 weeks." What? Well, I changed my tune. I started talking nice to Dougie because I never did talk nice to him before that. And there's something wrong with this. I said, we got to keep this information going, whether, whoever's talking. Anyways, so we lost Oracle in 2 weeks. Boom, shut down. I was on Orion after that, and you were on Orion as well. And I was on with, Ryan Brooks.
Let me get this straight. I
was on with Ryan Brooks on Orion, and I was live on air with him. And he said, "Oh, Chris," he said, "by the way, just to let you know, once my program is done, this station is done." And I went, "What?"
So let me get this
He
straight.
went, "No."
Let me get this straight. This is all of these stations going down seems to be when you talk to them.
Oh, don't. Okay, now you're going to get people with guns are going to be coming after me.
You know,
It's not me.
Oracle went down.
I swear to God.
Down, UCY is going down, and
no, it's not. No, it's not.
And,
we're talking to Jules. We're going to talk to her, and there's going to be a bunch of us getting together, and we're going to keep it going, and we'll still have her name on it because that's her baby. We don't want to lose it.
Well,
so she can't even quit at this point. She can hand it over so she can take a rest and rejuvenate herself.
Well, yeah, but we have a little bit of a problem here. Okay.
What?
And that is setting it up. Now I don't know how difficult it is to run it.
Well, Jules, what Jules will do, if I can get in communication with her, today's Sunday, so I can't do anything to fix my computer. But what Jules will do is she will, if we work with her, she will pass over what we need to do to keep UCY.TV going. That's my thought.
Well, yeah.
And we've got Shawley, we've got Hal,
right.
We've got Ron Stevens,
there's a good load of hosts on this show on UCY. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But if things are workable, fine. But like Shawley said, and it's my thought process as well, the only thing that I'm concerned about, and I've been concerned about a long time. I mean, I was really concerned when Jules was in the hospital. That was a sad time. And, the only thing that I'm concerned about, is her getting her health back. That's it. And, if she's come to the decision that she needs to get away and rejuvenate and get her health back, then that is all that's important. Now, if she should decide that there's a way that we can remote hook up or whatever into the system, that's a whole other ballgame. But, without your health, you got nothing. I don't care if you got $1 gazillion.
All right.
Without your health, you got nothing. And her health is.
I totally appreciate that, and I love Jules just for nothing else. What she has done to try and keep information flowing.
Right, but she's done her
and
part.
Jules, I'm sure, if we can keep her in the background. If we can keep her in the background and let her get her rest and what she needs to do to get healthy again,
right? But
we can keep the program running.
Well, that's
why. Why not?
That may be easier said than done. Okay. Now, you got to realize, okay, she is tired and her health isn't great.
But all she's going to do, Ron, is we got to talk to her, right?
Well, I have.
And we need more of us. And say, we're going to take it over, dear, for now.
Well, it's easy to say.
And she doesn't have to do anything. I've got to push some buttons. You've got to push some buttons. Shawley's got to push some buttons. Hal's got to push some buttons. And we'll keep it going until she gets back into good health again.
Right.
And then she'll come back in and...
You got the gear?
She'll fix all the stuff that we screwed up.
Have you got the gear? Have you got the knowledge? Right?
I bet you she probably could send it over to me right tomorrow.
So
as long as I get my computer fixed.
At this point in time, this station's going down next Friday. Okay, and
so you're giving up. So that's it. You quit.
I'm not giving up. Okay, I'm not giving up on anything. Right. All I'm concerned about is her health, and her health hasn't been good.
I'm not.
Years.
Don't. See, you're going back to being emotional again. I totally want Jules to be in good health.
If Jules
but
wants to
she doesn't have
down,
to. She can still get in good health without having to worry about the network. She can hand it over to us. We'll deal with it until she gets in good health again. That's what I'm saying. Am I wrong?
Well, I think I don't know that you have the capacity to look after a network. Okay.
What if I had Hal? I had Shelley. I had Ron.
It is apparently extremely time consuming. Okay.
Okay. So if I had Hal, Ron, Shelley,
but right.
But what?
If it's doable, it's doable. If it's not, it's not. But if it's going to take, I'm looking at the stress level on Jules. Trying to take a bunch of people.
Jules, we're going to give Jules. I don't understand where you're going with this, Ron.
You don't. Do you?
We're going to give Jules a rest. We're going to say, Jules, we're taking over for you, girl.
Do you understand how to run the network?
Do you? Shall we?
No, I don't. If I did, I would start a network.
Well, how about if we all get together and Jules works with us just enough? She got until next Friday. What if she works with us all?
Well, you talk to her, right? Okay.
I got to get my computer working again.
All I'm concerned about is her health. That's it. Okay. Her health is.
Right.
I'm sorry. Her health trumps any network. Okay. That's all that matters.
Important.
Right. She's still a young lady, right? And she's got a lot of years in front of her, but she's got to get well. Okay, and if she's tired and ill and got all these things to deal with, the network is the least important of all of them. Period.
Okay, so you're ignoring everything I
am not ignoring.
Been sitting here talking to you about.
To say anything, you can't run a network. You don't know how to run the network. You don't got the gear to run a network. Okay, so you just talking. But you're not.
What? Say again. Say that one more time to me. What did you just say? I'm just talking?
Yeah.
Why?
Do you know how to run a network? Do you got the gear to run a network?
Do you know if I have half the ability, do you got the other half?
I've never run a network.
Okay. So now listen to me. Listen to me.
No, I'm not gonna.
Jules already knows how to run it all. She's been running it. She's been part of Oracle. She's been part of Orion.
Yeah, you haven't.
Okay, but if Jules gives us the tools, we can take over.
Well, you talk to Jules about it. I'm done with that part of the conversation. Right?
Well, well, you're a quitter. I'm not.
One thing I'm not is a quitter, okay? But I'm a realist, okay? I am a realist, and
So if Jules communicates with me and says, "Okay, Chris, here's what has to happen. I'm gonna give you what I have."
But you're not.
And you guys aren't willing to back it up. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's not what I said. I said go talk to Jules. Right? All this other stuff.
Me, I got to talk to Jules. Okay.
I talked to Jules. Jules tired. She's ill.
I know she is.
All right. Then why is that so difficult for you to understand?
It's just the programming to keep the station up and running.
Then go
all
talk
she's going to do is hand it over to us. You know, and then we need like more a better mind than I to understand it. Jules, she's pretty technical. She knows how things work. Now, between we get these hosts.
Why are you talking this stuff? Okay, you got Hal involved in it, you got Charlie involved, you got all these people involved. You haven't talked to any of them about it. Okay, you haven't talked to Jules about it. Okay, so just cut it. Go talk to Jules. Ask Jules if she's interested. If she is, then we'll go from there. The word I got, she's not. She has to get her health back together. Now, if you can talk to Jules and figure something out, I'm all for it. But all this other stuff is it's just air. There's nothing there. I mean, this is what you want, and I get that. I don't want to see the network go down, but it ain't my network. Okay, I'm not the one that's. I mean, she's been working at this for how many years and years and years and years and years and years. She's ill. Okay, and if she wasn't ill, and I'm sure she must be having some serious thought processes here, because if she wasn't, she would continue on. Okay, so she has to deal with what she has to deal with, and if UCY is not part of that at this point in time, then that's the way it is. Okay. Now, if you want to talk to Jules, and Jules says, well, we could do it this way or that way or this way, fine, great, let's keep it on the air. But this is her decision, okay? Only her decision. It's her network, it's her health, okay? And it's going to leave a hell of a hole.
Stop being emotional about this. Stop it. Come on, Ron, you know better than that.
Listen, this is a stupid conversation. I'm done with it. Okay, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so you want to talk?
Right. No, that's fine. That's fine. Right? That's fine. We'll go talk about
done with it.
Politics, I guess.
I don't want to talk about politics either. I have to make some phone calls as soon as the show's done, and talk to some people about who want to know something more about the party. But have you heard anything about? I'm really interested in what's going down at Roxham Road. That's what I'm really interested in.
I tried to get there. I couldn't get a ride.
No, I didn't know if anybody's seen any updates or anything. I haven't seen anything.
It'll be on YouTube. I hope, I truly hope that there's enough people down there that they can make some noise.
Yeah, I hope that they get.
Because I wanted to be one of the bodies that were down there.
I sent that out. It's not far from Newfoundland, really. And I don't think, I guess probably about 8 hours. But I sent it out to, I sent that video out to several places on the East Coast, and they're all, yeah, let's go. So hopefully, as far as what's going on at this particular time, I think that our biggest concern is our borders. Of all the things going on in this country right now, our borders are wide freaking open. We're being flooded in. We've got a plant in there as the immigration minister. We've got a plant in there as the attorney general. And they put another plant into the Senate. And this is all about actually ramping up the speed of this illegal immigration thing. And now they're going to start moving them up into rural Ontario because they said the cities can't take anymore. And our province is, 300 and, I don't know where it is, 325, 350 billion in the hole. For a little, like a small population of 14 million people, and they want to drive these people up into the rural areas, into the small towns. Small town people are going to have to pick up expenses for these people, so it's just going to be, Europe too, and we got to get these borders shut down, come hell or high water. So, the most important thing that's going on for me today, besides all the other things I got to deal with today, is Roxham Road, and the fact that it's a 29-year-old woman who's leading the march down to Roxham Road. It's not the men, and that's pathetic. You know, all the men that were slaughtered in these banker wars. You know,
it hurts me to the core.
Yeah,
and it's embarrassing.
Here
I feel like I'm blessed. I'm blessed right now because I don't have the ability to get down there to defend that woman.
Well,
when she needs real men beside her, she got Antifa attacking her, spitting on her, kicking her to the ground.
Yeah, and the cops sitting
and
there
she's going back for more because there's no real fucking or freaking men that will stand up.
So we have a real man shortage in this country, as they do in the United States. We have people who like to hold up protest signs, but I hate to break it to you, protest sign, they like protest signs because if you're protesting with your little sign, they know you're not going to do anything. Put your damn stupid protest signs down and get a spine. This is our nation, belongs to us. It does not belong to politicians. It's our nation, same as in the United States. We, the people, own this nation. We built this nation. And we cannot allow ourselves to be run over because our country signed agreements with the United Nations without our consent, over decades and decades and decades, to move those globalist agendas in here, which the end goal of the globalists is end of nation states. We have a prime minister here who stated that Canada is the first post-national state. They've been writing international law to undermine our nations for decades and decades and decades without our consent. That is treason at the highest order. And we got to stand up to this. They do not have the authority to destroy our lives or our societies. They do not have that authority. They say, oh, we put this through I don't care what you put through where. You don't have the authority, you ain't got our consent, and therefore you have no authority. So the police are on side with the takedown, the military is on side with the takedown, the politicians are on side with the takedown. I mean, when you have the police working as bellhops on the border, where there's like somewhere around 600 people coming across, undocumented people coming across that border every single freaking day.
That's embarrassing.
Damn right it's embarrassing. And the cops just go, you know, they're not standing at the border say, sorry, you can't come through here, go to the front door. They're carrying their luggage like a bunch of freaking bellhops. And then the media spills it off like it's because of Trump, right? You know, Trump. I mean, how stunned is this? So that is our number one priority in this country right now is get them borders under control.
Did you see in the CBC News today?
No.
They want to regulate play guns in Canada because 3 people have been shot in the last 5 or 7 years because they had play guns that weren't like orange colored, you know, the nozzle.
Maybe what we ought to do is give the police play guns because the stats on the number of killings from police is rising exponentially.
Well, that's what he said. There's a 20-to-1 kill ratio.
Yeah. So maybe it's
time
to get the police to play guns because the police are turning into they're turning into a very dangerous group of people against our people. But then, you know, you go and you look up the international police chiefs. Okay, they're all connected with the globalists. You look up the RCMP. You look up, they're building a global police force, a UN police force. And the same thing is with our military. They're saying our military, they can't recruit enough people. So people who are even undocumented coming into this country, they want to allow to join the army or our military. This is building.
Well, I got one guy.
This is building
who
the
came
UN
in 2014.
military.
he can't wait to vote, and he's Somalian.
Yeah.
And he came here because his parents brought him in.
Yeah.
And I guess apparently he gets to vote.
Yeah, but when you have undocumented immigrants being allowed to join our army, all you're getting here is a blue helmet army. Okay, that's what they're building. They're building a blue helmet police force and a blue helmet military. Okay, a global police force and a global military. Okay, and that's the end of your nation state. And we got to stop it. And the first place we got to do is shut our borders down. We got to close our freaking borders down. And we have to deal with our nation and rebuild it. It's been taken away from us. People have been weakened down so badly, they don't even seem to want to notice what's going on. And then you got a 29-year-old woman leading a march.
Just getting her face spit on.
This is embarrassing, to say the least.
Fucking freaking A, yeah.
You know, so guys, grow a spine, okay? And we got to do this, and please understand this. This has got to be done peacefully. They are begging you to start shooting. Okay, then they can spin that in the media. Okay, put the fear in the people, and we lose. Okay, remember what this is a spiritual psychological war. They've taken us down this far without shooting at us. And we're going to take it back without shooting at them. Simply because there's more of us than there are them. And we got our boots on the ground here, they don't. But they're putting the boots on the ground by opening the borders. So we got to shut the borders down. Okay, we have got to stand firm. And if we don't, we're going to look like Europe. We are the last vestige of freedom on this planet. This was the place that our forefathers came to get out from under the Buddha tyranny, and the Buddha tyranny is back on us. There's nowhere left to go, so you're going to have to stand ground. We got weak. Our forefathers were strong, and we got weak. We better get strong again.
Question everything. Intelligent radio for intelligent people. UCY.tv.